Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to fully disassemble the bolt and the FCG, fire control group, for the CF98. And you'll notice I have moved the camera for a better close-up because there's a lot of tiny pieces in this assembling. And you need to, and it's quite complicated, and so you need to have a closer view of what I'm doing. And that is the reason why I am behind the camera and not in front of it. Okay, why don't we start with the bolt and the which is the slide, and to first remove the extractor. And to remove the extractor, it has this pin with the cleaning rod. You remove the unscrew the pin, and what you do, you stick it in here. Okay, right behind the extractor. See, this is the reason why I'm behind it, so you can see what I'm doing. You push the extractor plunger back, and okay, and then stick the pin in, and then like this. Okay, and here it comes. And there it is. Okay, and this is the extractor. Take a close look at what it looks like. This is rather unusual because it has this very fine, I guess it's like a spring that helps eject the casing out of the extractor. Okay, so you notice spring, and your rim of the casing gets hooked here, and then it helps eject the casing. Right. Okay, let's put that over here. And at the same time, you remove the plunger. Okay. It's a little stuck in there. So I put a little bit too much grease. There it is. Okay, that's the extractor plunger. Now there's a spring in there, and you need to make a hook with a nail. That's what I did. And you need to hook the spring out like that. That is the spring. Alright, so once you remove the extractor first, because the extractor actually holds the firing pin in. Once you do that, the firing pin start to protrude from the back. It's actually like this, okay, and then it start to move out. Now, to make sure completely out, you press this firing pin safety. Okay, and you press it. Once you press it, the firing pin and the spring comes out. Okay. If your spring is ever broken, you could just remove. Okay, that is your firing pin. That is your firing pin spring. Put that right here. Okay, now you have your firing pin safety. Now all you do is use that pin and lift it straight up. Now there's a spring below it, so be careful. That's it. Okay. And the spring is right there. That's the firing pin safety. Okay, so basically that's it. That's how you disassemble the slide, remove the firing pin and the extractor. Now I'll show you how to put it back, because you have to make sure you get it right. Now this firing pin has to go back a certain way, and if you don't put it back a certain way, you're not going to be able to put the extractor back in. Like I said before, that the extractor actually holds the firing pin. Okay, now if you like this, if you were to put this cut or this cut facing up, okay, and that one facing down, in other words, this, if you see this, it's at an angle. Make sure it's in a 45 degrees angle, pointing to the right. Okay, this is right. It's pointing to the right. This is your carrier. It's pointing to the right. Okay, let's do that. Let's move that over. Okay, you have to put your firing pin, this part flat, and this part in a 45 degrees angle. Okay, and imagine what holds the firing pin in is this part of the extractor. That's where it kind of holds it right there. Okay, and don't worry about the spring, because the spring is held back a little further back over here. Okay, that's basically how the extractor holds the firing pin in. Okay, see that? Okay, so it's important that you put the firing pin back properly. And here it is. Put the spring in. Okay, make sure it's all the way in. Now, actually what I'm going to do first, I'm going to put the safety in first. See the hole in the safety? Put the spring in there, and then it goes into this cavity. Okay, see this cavity right there? You're going into the cavity like this. Okay, so push that in. Make sure it goes in. Now if it's, I find that these pieces are a little gritty, and if you want to use a 400 grit paper, you can sand the sides of these pieces with 400 or 600 grit paper. Okay, once the safety is in, now put your firing pin in. Remember, this part or that part got to be flat, facing up or facing down. Okay, and now I'm going to put this in. Make sure you hold the safety down and then slide that in. Okay, you're going to hear a click. Alright, so it's in. Now your firing pin is in. Now you have to put the extractor spring in. Now it doesn't matter which end you put it in, they're both the same. Stick that in first. Take this pin, push it in. Okay. Then you follow with the plunger. Okay, now you see the plunger. Okay. See, now the plunger's in. Now when you put back the extractor, there's this little raised area on the side of the extractor which basically says you have to put that in an angle like this. Okay, it has to go in like a 45 degrees angle. It won't pass this area. It has to be back here, like really quite deep, like that. Okay, so to make sure, and then take this pin and push the plunger in. Okay. Okay. Right at this point, you want to make sure your firing pin is all the way in. Press this button if you have to, but it should go all the way in. It's okay, there it is. Now you gotta somehow put your finger in the firing pin, make sure it's still down, and now push with another thumb, pushing against the extractor, and with your other hand push against the plunger. At the same time, follow with the extractor. There it is. There it is. Now it's in. Okay, now it's in. Now, when you release the safety and you try to press on the firing pin, it won't go in. Now you have to depress the safety, and it should go. It should protrude. There it is. See, it's protruding. Okay. All right. So that's basically done. Now, the more difficult part. Now, the FCG. This is the FCG housing. It's made of stack metal. Now, before you start, I need you to take lots of pictures, because I guarantee you, you're going to have a hard time putting it back together. Okay, so I need you to take lots of pictures. And I have, and luckily it saved my skin. Because look at all these little pieces. There's at least a dozen little pieces in there. Okay, and you need to take pictures. This angle, take 3 or 4 pictures, this angle, make sure they're not blurred, a couple of pictures down there, a couple of this way, and let's start with, okay, as you can see, I'm cocked now, and I'm releasing the hammer. Okay, the first thing I remove is this pin. This is a sear pin, and I got a punch, the exact diameter of the pin, and I'm just going to push it from one side to the other, and I'm removing the sear, and see, it comes out completely, and this is the sear. I'm just going to put it right there. And also notice when you're doing that, I'm going to turn on the light so you can actually see better. Okay, I want to point out, take note that this spring goes in between these two pieces right here. Okay, so that's where it needs to go back when you reassemble it. And this is what the series look like. Okay. Now I'm going to pull this punch out, and out comes this sear. Now I'm not going to disassemble this. You can. If you broke a spring, you can just pull this pin out and remove the spring. But I'm not going to do that. It's pretty simple. It's a no-brainer. You should be able to do that easily. Okay, so I'm going to put that there, and now take a close look at what you're looking at before you dive any further. Okay, take note what the top side looks like. You have this piece here, you have this piece, and that piece. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is remove the hammer. Alright, I'm going to see, using the same punch, I'm just going to go right across. This is the hammer, so I'm going to put it over here. Okay, and I'm going to pull it out being very gentle to make sure all the pieces are, I notice how the pieces are coming out. Okay, take note, this piece here on the right side. Okay, so that'll go over there, and also take note of these two pieces, what it looks like and what this one looks like. This one, it pivots and it's like that there. Okay, the next to come out would be the trigger. Using the same thing, push, and it comes out very easily. You notice I'm laying them out in the proper position that they're in, left, front, back, and this comes out. Okay. Now, to remove this, you have to hold the spring in, and you have to move it. What I would do is actually move it to the right. You cannot just come straight out. That would be too easy. So you put it like this, and there it is. Okay. Okay, let's come on to the right. Now when you do that, this automatically, the selector start to fall down. Okay. Now bring it all the way to the front, to this position here, and then push this part in, like that. Okay, here it is. I didn't have to remove the piece. But as you can see, this is what it looks like. This sits like this. Okay. But this can be actually removed coming through here. There it is. Okay. So, basically, that's how it is done. These parts, oh, there's one more thing I'll have to show you how to remove, is to disassemble the hammer. And it's not as easy as it looks. The reason why is because the hammer has the hammer spring inside the hammer, and it's under tension. Okay, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is that I could just push this. It's like a tube pin out, but I can still feel it under pressure. Okay, so what I would do, I want to release the tension of the spring by using a clamp, any clamp, and okay, so okay, it just makes it a lot easier for me to push this pin across, okay, because it's now holding the hammer spring in, and here comes the tube pin, and here comes that piece. There it, oops, it just got released, and here's this tiny piece. It's on the right side, okay, of the hammer. Now I'm going to make sure that the hammer and the plunger don't jump out. There it is. And here it is, right here. Here is the hammer This whole spring is inside the hammer with the plunger and this piece right here. This goes like right there. Okay. Okay. You know, that was the easy part. Now putting it back together, that's going to be a little difficult. Okay. I did this a couple of times and I finally figured out how to do it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is now put the hammer back together. First, put the springs. Actually, you might even take an opportunity to put oil in there if there isn't any. Alright, and here, this is where the plunger goes. Okay, remember, you need the clamp to help you release the pressure. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time getting this in. Okay, see it's going down. Okay, I'm now in. Now remember, this goes on the right side, like this. Okay, and now the tube pin goes right there. Okay, it's not going in because it's not lined up. I'm going to have to use a punch to line it up. There it is. There it is. Alright, I got it in. Now you can release the clamp. And I need to make sure it comes all the way through. Okay, that's how you reassemble the hammer. It's pretty easy. Now, the first thing, basically you start doing everything in the reverse. Okay. You need to put this back in, and this is what I normally do. I don't know if you noticed that this slot here is bigger than this slot, so everything kind of goes in from here. Okay, like this. Okay, so you kind of go from there. There it is, and there it is. It comes through this way. Now you have to put this piece back in. Remember, it was like this. Okay, and so you need to, there is a certain way that this thing will go back in and has to be on this side. Okay, now it's in. Now you're going to move it. Now, if you notice there's this round circle right there, you got to move the selector up that part. Okay, so like that. Okay, like this. However, you need to However, you need to have this face up, this piece right up, and this flat piece facing flat, and this at an angle like this, like in a 45 on a downward slope, like that. Okay, now let's push that back up again. That piece is dropped down, like this. Okay, now, once you got this back in to the selector position, now you have to can put the trigger back in. Now, if you remember, the trigger was put in to go this way. Remember, the The right side is bigger. And put tension on it, and then it goes in like this. And then put it all the way to the front and push that forward. That hook stays forward. And push this in position. Okay, it's not quite in position, but it should be in position. There it is. It's now in position. Okay, now I need to make sure it goes to the back. Okay, nope, the firing pin is, the safety actually, is not in a proper position. Remember, this is supposed to be in a 45, like that. That's better. Okay, now I am in. Now this is firing pin selected, supposed to be like that. Now I'm going to have to put this pin back in the where did it go? Right there. Right there. There it is. Got that in. Good. Alright. Let's make sure that these things stay in the proper position. And it is now in the proper position. Okay, next goes the hammer goes back in. Okay. Now this part goes underneath. Okay, like that. Okay. Like that. There's no tension, and you can see right there. Okay, got it in. Now the hammer is in. I gotta make sure it comes all the way through. There it is. Ah, there it is. Okay, it's flat here, and it's flat over here. Okay, now what's missing is the sear. Now this is what the inside looks like before I put the sear. Remember when I said that this spring, see this spring right here? That has to go right between this two, right here. Right there. And remember I use this hook. It's actually just a flooring nail. I put a hook to it. What I do is I have to hook the spring, and I gotta pull it up. Like that. Okay. And when I pull it up, I'll have to rest it between those, basically the crack. Now it's going to be a little tricky, so you're going to have to hold the sear like this, one finger through the top, one from the bottom, and then I got to hook it, the spring, with this hook. There, I got that. Oops. Damn. I can't even see because the camera is actually in the way. I had an easier time without the camera. I'm right behind the camera, so it's kind of a blocking my view. But that's okay. I hope. Okay, I got, oops, no, I didn't do it. I thought I got it, but I didn't get it. Okay, it took me another 10 minutes off camera to put that spring into that slot. What a pain. But it's in, as you can tell. You see that pin? No, that spring. It's between these two things. It's in. I put the pin in, and now I'm gonna about test it. Make sure the selector is in a 45 downward degrees angle, and all the pins are flat against the housing. Now let's check it out. When you cock the hammer all the way to the back, this should bring the trigger back with it. Okay. Now make sure you're not letting it fly, and it does work. Let's do the, okay, let's move that, see if it moves. Yes. Yep, looks good. I'm going to move this back to ready to fire. Everything looks good. All right, so everything's done. Okay, that's basically it. All done. So thank you for watching, and please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you.